channel. My name is Becca, and if it's your first time joining me, then it is a great time for you to be here because today we are talking about Sephora sale recommendations for skincare. I just did a part 1 for my Sephora makeup recommendations, and after this video, I will be doing a part 3 for fragrance, body care, and hair care. So I've done recommendations in the past via blog post, which I will link below, but I have a lot of new skincare in this rotation. Even though I try to be super consistent with skincare, there have just been some really powerhouse skincare releases this year. So I'm excited to share old favorites as well as new favorites. And I just want to say I have a combo oily skin type. In the cooler months, I'm more combo, and in the summer, I tend to be more oily. But I've considered all skin types in these recommendations, and I think there will be something for everybody here. And I'll be sure to specify if a skincare product is better for one skin type over another as we go along. So we're gonna go in order of application, starting with first cleanse all the way to skincare devices and tools. So let's get into it. By the way, this is going to be a long video, so you should probably grab a snack or a drink because we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and this is only the stuff that I have on hand. I don't even have everything in hand to show you, so here we go. So let's start with a first cleanse. I have to say this has been the year of the cleansing balm for me. Not to say I don't like a cleansing oil, but there's something about the experience and the transformation of a cleansing balm into an oily texture and the variation of textures among cleansing balms that's just been very satisfying. So the first one that I have to talk about is actually a very recent release. So this is the Youth to the People Superberry Dream Cleansing Balm, and this is their latest addition to their Superberry line within Youth to the People. So as you can see, this is a newer cleansing balm in my lineup. They just released this a week or two ago, and even though it's stiffer, it melts really easily on contact with the skin, and it emulsifies makeup beautifully, and it rinses off completely clean. It's also very, very, very good at breaking down makeup, even waterproof makeup, and it always gives me a really thorough cleanse without stripping the skin. So if you've ever smelled the Dream Night Mask by Youth to the People, which we'll talk about later, this has like 10% of that smell. And I should say Youth to the People doesn't add synthetic fragrances to their formulas. It's just a very, very light scent that comes from the natural ingredients in here. The next cleansing balm I don't have in hand, but it's the Belief Aqua Balm Cleansing Balm. So that is a much softer texture than the Youth to the People one. The Youth to the People is the most like a solid balm. I would say the Belief texture is more like a whipped sorbet that is in balm form. It's much more lightweight. It feels more oily as it's melting down. It works just as beautifully. I would say even as it's melted down, it goes into a more oil-like texture. It's thinner, more slippery on the face, and it breaks down makeup beautifully, including waterproof makeup. It emulsifies beautifully and it rinses clean. I mean, that is just a standard for any cleansing balm that I have. So I think if you like something a little bit stiffer and richer, you might go for Youth to the People. If you like something a little bit more whipped, sorbet-y, you might go for the Belief. The last cleansing balm is the Paula's Choice Cleansing Balm, and this is different from the others in that it comes in a tube. And the arrival of Paula's Choice at Sephora has been very exciting because I really love the brand. I've used it for many, many years. I feel like they're straightforward but efficacious. They're not a fluffy brand, but you know they'll get the job done. And that's kind of what this cleansing balm is. It's very soft, straight out of the tube. It melts onto the skin. It emulsifies beautifully. It turns milky with water, and it rinses clean. And honestly, when I use this cleansing balm, I don't use it for the fluff. I use it because I know it'll get the job done. And sometimes you just need a cleansing balm like that in your life. And I also think the tube format is really nice. I know a lot of people have said they wish this was a flip cap. This is actually a twist off cap. I don't mind that. I think a flip cap would be convenient, but just having a cleansing balm in a tube is really nice because sometimes you just don't want to scoop out cleansing balm with a spatula or you don't have one on hand. And in that case, this is really convenient. Moving on to second cleanse, I have the Fresh Soy Face Cleanser, and I've used this for 12, 13 years, a very, very long time. It's a gel cleanser. It smells lightly of cucumber. It's very gentle. It can remove SPF and makeup, but I always use a first cleanse for that. And it's just kind of one of those things I always have in my stash because I've used it for so long. It doesn't strip my skin, and I just find it really pleasant to use. And this is the jumbo size. I think they have this year round. They also have a value size that's often out during the sale. And when that's the case, I do pick up those larger sizes just because the cost per ounce is so much better than the standard size. My newer gel cleanser favorite is the Youth to the People Kale and Green Tea Spinach Vitamins Superfood Cleanser. So this is also a gel cleanser, but this is more foaming than the Fresh Soy Cleanser. That one doesn't really foam much at all. So even though this does foam, it's not going to strip your skin. It is pH balanced, but it just gives me a slightly more, I would say, thorough cleanse, which I really like, especially in the summer. I enjoyed this when my skin was feeling a little bit more oily. I think this would work best for normal to oily skin types. Drier skins may want something a little bit creamier. I also love that this comes with a jumbo refill. So you can refill this glass bottle and you can buy another like glass bottle without the pump. And the cost per ounce is really, really good that way. I think it's like $4 an ounce. So if you're into refillable skincare and that's important to you, this is a really, really great option for that. The last first cleanse is the Korres Greek Yogurt Cream Cleanser. I think it's called the Foaming Cleanser. I actually don't have it on hand because I just emptied it, but it's a creamy cleanser. It's called foaming and it does foam up slightly, like it bubbles a little bit as you're rubbing in the cream, but it's not your traditional foaming cleanser. It's also pH balanced, and I think it would be wonderful for drier to normal skins. Even if you're combo oily like me, I think you'll like it because it's not a super rich cream. It doesn't leave a film on the skin, for example, after you rinse it off, but it still has that creamy element that feels sort of comforting and soothing on the skin if your barrier is compromised, if you have dry skin, if it's cooler weather. Sometimes you need something just a little bit richer, and that's when I turn to the Korres. So next up we have mists, and the first mist is the Dr. Jart Cicapair Tiger Grass Calming Mist. So I love the Cicapair line from Dr. Jart. It's based on Centella asiatica or Cica, and it's very calming. It's meant to soothe inflammation and redness, which is everything my skin wants. The thing that I actually love most about this mist is the misting component. It's super fine, so I'm gonna spray it now. You probably don't even see it. It's the kind of thing that the mist just like disappears into the air, and it's very soothing, it's calming, it's hydrating, but it's not too heavy. For me, I'm not someone who looks for a really, really heavy kind of mist, and this is just perfect when you just need a little spritz of something, and I use this both with skincare and with makeup. The second mist is the Laneige Cream Skin Mist, and this is the one I would recommend for people who want a mist that's a little bit richer, that might cocoon the skin a little bit more. It has a touch more emollients. So this is actually the same formula as the Laneige Cream Skin, their hydrating toner that is a milky formula. And the idea behind Cream Skin is that it's a liquid that actually contains, in theory, the same amount of product as like a jar of cream, hence cream skin. The only difference is that the cream skin mist comes in the mist component versus the cream skin essence, or is it a toner, that comes in just a standard bottle. But they're both beautiful, they're both really nourishing and comfortable on the skin and would be perfect for normal to dry skins. Not to say oily skin can't use it, but it just has that extra bit of oomph for someone who's looking for something with a bit more body. So then moving into toners, essences, and serums, I would add first the Laneige Cream Skin, which I just mentioned. I do think the toner or the essence bottle has more product in it. So if you just want to empty that into a mist component, then you totally could do that and get more value for your money. The mist just comes with the component and slightly less product, even though it is a nice mister. Just letting you know, it's the same formula in both. So this category is full of kbeauty because hydrating toners and essences, it's just something that kbeauty does so well. And this next product is this Hydrating First Care Activating Serum. And if you're not familiar with Hydrating, they are a luxury Korean brand. They formulate based around traditional Korean herbs such as ginseng. They have an entire ginseng line. And so they kind of take these traditional medicinal herbs and turn them into luxurious, beautiful skincare. And the First Care Activating Serum it's called a serum, but it's actually meant to be used as the first step after cleansing. And so it prepares your skin for other hydrating ingredients that come after. It's very hydrating itself. And for me, when I'm using this, it's one of those things that it just creates a glow. I'm wearing it today, I put it on this morning, and it just like plumps up the skin somehow. So another beautiful hydrating product is the Amore Pacific Vintage Single Extract Essence. So this is also a high-end kbeauty brand, and this is one of the more approachable products in their line, also a bestseller. So this is an essence that is very watery, super hydrating and lightweight, and it is based on green tea. So there are a lot of benefits for green tea in skincare. It's calming, it's hydrating, and it also provides antioxidant protection. So this is just kind of one of those steps in your skincare regime that might be a little bit extra, but maybe adds a bit of hydration, some antioxidant protection, a bit of a juicy boost, but it's not so viscous that it adds another layer of stickiness or film to the skin. It sinks in really, really quickly, and it's quite watery. Moving into hydrating serums and the way low end of the price point, I have the Inkey List Hyaluronic Acid. So the Inkey List is newer to me. They've sent over a few products that I'm kind of getting around to incorporating into my routine, but I think this is a really, really great, straightforward hyaluronic acid for when you need more hydration in your skin. And it's nothing fancy, it's not going to work wonders, but if you just need that extra bit of juiciness in your routine, this is a great thing to incorporate. I should note that the Inkey List has a low price point, but their bottles are quite small, so this is just 1 ounce. So that's just something to be aware of, but this is excellent. There's no added fragrance, no added anything really. It's just to plump up and juice up your skin. The next hydrating serum is the Edem Milk Marvel Serum, the Dark Spot Serum. I don't know if I'm saying this brand name right, Edem, but this is a really interesting brand. So it's formulated by women of color, 2 women of color, I believe, and it's specifically designed for women of color, people of color skin. I don't really know if people of color skin of color has different needs in this specific arena. This is actually something I would recommend to everybody. So for me, it's mostly a hydrating serum, even though it also contains niacinamide and it contains encapsulated vitamin C, but it's at a very low concentration, and the vitamin C is a vitamin C derivative, so I wouldn't rely on this as my vitamin C per se. But it's a beautiful hydrating serum, and if you like something to brighten up spots, the addition of niacinamide is really nice. It sinks in really quickly. The texture is slightly milky, but it's also quite thin, so it's not gonna leave much tackiness or another film on the skin. It sinks in very quickly and it pairs with other skincare really nicely. So let's get into treatments and actives, and I will tell you what I do use for my vitamin C, which is the Paula's Choice C15 Super Booster. So this is 15% L-ascorbic acid, which is the most potent form of vitamin C, and it also contains vitamin E and ferulic acid to help support the vitamin C. This is my favorite L-ascorbic acid, especially considering the price point for the efficacy. So for me, it really helps brighten acne pigmentation, and it helps fade dark spots. And it also, of course, provides antioxidant protection, and when paired with vitamin C, it helps aid sun protection overall. It sinks in really quickly. I always use this as the first step after cleansing in the morning, and it sinks in really quickly. It doesn't have that hot dog water smell. It's not sticky, it's not tacky, it's very, very watery. And when I'm using this versus other vitamin C's, even though there are other vitamin C's I like, I feel like I notice the fading of pigmentation most with this. And that's one thing that I really turn to vitamin C for, obviously in addition to other actives, but I just really notice results with the C15. The other Paula's Choice treatment is their 2% BHA salicylic acid liquid exfoliant. It just is something that I also have to have in my routine at all times. As someone with oily skin and as someone with congested pores, this is just what I need. Other salicylic treatments I feel like can be a bit drying. This one has some hydrating products in it that prevent it from drying out the skin. So what I do is I tip this out onto a cotton pad. I really love the Shiseido cotton pads, and I just sort of swipe it over my cheeks and my forehead, especially focusing on the T-zone, around the nose. And for me, this really helps control congestion and oiliness overall. And for me, my main actives are retinol and BHA, and when I alternate the two, I get the benefits of retinol while also getting the benefits of salicylic acid. And for me, I need that pore cleansing action of salicylic acid to really make sure that my skin texture and breakouts are kept at bay. While we're on the Paula's Choice wave, let me talk about the 1% retinol treatment. So this is a 1% retinol, OL, and within retinols, it's on the stronger side. Retinols can start around like 0.3%, 0.5%, and then 1%. And even though this is a 1%, it actually is very, very gentle and moisturizing, it's hydrating. It comes in this like lotiony texture that makes it really easy for like a one and done step. If you just want to cleanse and use this, you would be totally fine and all set for your PM routine. It also includes peptides and vitamin C, so it helps with anti-aging overall, as retinol does. I love retinol. It's something that I need to have in my routine at all times. And I really have to say, if there's one ingredient that has transformed my skin over time, it is retinol. I mean, skin textures, skin smoothing, the appearance of pores, fine lines, anti-aging, all of that stuff. Like, if you're gonna incorporate one ingredient and your skin can tolerate it, do the retinol. The other hydroxy acid toner that I would recommend is the new Youth to the People Mandelic Acid Superfood Exfoliant. I can't remember the full name and I don't have it in front of me, but it is a blend of 2% BHA as well as mandelic acid and a touch of glycolic. I was really nervous because I can be a bit sensitive to glycolic. I was nervous that this would be too much acid, but it's actually very gentle and I find that it's very effective. I haven't tested it nearly as much as I've tested the Paula's Choice, which I've used for many, many years, but I was really impressed with its results without irritating the skin. So if you're someone that's looking for an acid blend, something a bit more comprehensive with a touch of mandelic, glycolic, and salicylic, then I think that would be a nice place for you to start and kind of knock out a bunch of different ingredients at once. Oh, and I forgot, of course, the king of acid, Dr. Dennis Gross, does the Alpha Beta Extra Strength Daily Peels. So these come in a few different forms now. This is the regular strength, but there's also a sensitive, gentle version, and there's an extra strength version. I don't use these all the time. I actually really love these to travel with because they're so handy. But the way that these work is that there is one side that is an exfoliating pad that you swipe over your skin, and then you wait a couple of minutes, and then there's a step 2 which neutralizes that formula. And you don't have to wash off after after using these or anything like that. Step 2 is what neutralizes the formula. You can leave it on and then move on with your routine. I do think this is a slightly stronger exfoliant, at least they're universal regular strength. Obviously there's the sensitive skin version, but this contains alpha hydroxy acid in the form of glycolic, as well as I think a touch of salicylic. So there's a blend, like a whole cocktail of acids in here, but this is great for retexturing the skin, for breakouts, for keeping oiliness at bay, for improving the appearance of pores. I would just say if you're going to use this, maybe give your skin a night or 2 off of actives the days following. That's what I do anyways, because I'm a little bit more sensitive to glycolic. I like to baby my skin after I do use it. And the last treatment is the Peter Thomas Roth AHA BHA Acne Clearing Gel. So this is 10% glycolic and 2% salicylic. So it is strong, which is why you only want to use it as a spot treatment, but it's very effective for active breakouts, and it's even kind of effective for cystic breakouts, like before they come to the surface. I think the inclusion and the blend of glycolic and salicylic helps get under the deeper layers of the skin. I don't know. This was first recommended to me by Vanessa at Goals to Get Glowing on Instagram. I will link her Instagram in the description box below, along with everything else. But she's a researcher by trade and by nature, so when she recommends something, I always get it, and this was a great recommendation. It's the most effective spot treatment I think I've ever used. So let's talk about eye creams. When I think about the eye cream category, there are a couple of different things that come to mind. I have eye creams with actives for anti-aging. I have eye creams for daytime that work well with makeup. And then I have eye creams for overnight that are not active, but are just a really nice coat of moisture around the eyes. So starting with the active eye creams, I have the Dennis Gross Ferulic and Retinol Triple Correction Eye Serum. So this is a lightweight eye serum that includes retinol with ferulic acid, and it's specifically designed for the eye area. So even though it's retinol, it's a little bit gentler, it's toned down, and you could use this every night. And I like to have an eye product with retinol in it, just because even though I'm using retinoids and they probably migrate around the eye area, I just like to have a dedicated product for that because the eye area is so gentle. So I think this is a really nice texture and formula, because you can do this serum and then you can take a thicker, richer eye cream over that and kind of pack it in. Even though that's a little bit extra, sometimes you just need a little extra. The next eye cream is the Kate Somerville KateCeuticals Lifting Eye Cream. So I love this thing, and I'm so mad that I do because it's expensive. It's $120. This one was gifted to me, and now I feel like I'm hooked on it. It doesn't contain retinol, it contains vitamin C and peptides, and I don't know if that's what does the lifting, but I really do feel like I notice a lifting effect when I use this. I just use a tiny, tiny bit. It has like a shea butter lotion-y base, but it wears under makeup so well. I find that it helps depuff the eye area if I'm waking up with puffiness, and obviously the peptides help with anti-aging and all of that, but it's just a very elegant eye cream, and it comes in a pump. It's just easy to use, and it has one of those things, one of those like je ne sais quoi things that works really, really well. And I'm honestly considering repurchasing it, even though it's really expensive, because I don't want to be without it. And I've been using the tiniest amounts to make this bottle really, really last. Moving on to my Wears Well Under Makeup eye creams, which the KateCeuticals one does, but because it's so expensive, I kind of think of it more as like a treatment eye cream. This is the Dr. Jart Ceramidin eye cream. This is in their Ceramidin line, which is focused on ceramides, which are essentially like the building blocks of skin, and I really love this line for barrier boosting, all that good stuff. And this is focused on brightening and moisturizing. I wouldn't say I notice a huge amount of brightening with this. I just like it for the moisturizing effects, and it wears really beautifully under makeup. I like that it comes in this like slim tube with a pump. It's a really nice format for an eye cream. It's a great size for an eye cream, and it travels really well because it's super lightweight, comes in the pump, wears beautifully under makeup. You could use this in the PM too. Sometimes I like something a little bit richer for that, but it's nice both in the AM and PM. The next eye cream is one I don't have with me, but I've emptied many times, which is the Belif Moisturizing Eye Balm, I think. It's their eye cream, and it comes in a blue tub. So that one is a much more wet eye cream, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's almost like a gel slash lotion, like a gel cream eye cream. And that one is really, really hydrating. Like, because it has that more wet feel, it feels like it really plumps up the eye area. If your eye area is feeling thirsty, or you have really you're having some crustiness with your under eyes, I think that one's a really, really nice formula. And because it's slightly thinner in texture, it absorbs really quickly, and it's not thick at all. It absorbs quickly, and therefore it wears beautifully under makeup as well. So that's another one of my favorites. And the last one is the Youth to the People Dream Eye Cream. Now this one I think of as a night mask for your eyes. It's very rich, it's buttery, it's thick, it's emollient, and therefore it's something that I would reserve for nighttime, especially if I'm pairing it with the retinol eye serum or another active. I feel like it's really, really nice for kind of coating and cocooning the eye area. And I always wake up with really smooth, soft, supple under eyes. I don't have this one open at the moment, but I will just show you what the packaging is. It comes in a little jar packaging, and it has goji stem cells, ceramides, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin C. And this is the full eye cream size, also 1/2 ounce. Moving into moisturizers, I have a moisturizer for every skin type in this category. So the first one is the Pharmacy Honey Halo, and I discovered this at the end of last year, and I can't wait to dive into this jar. It's not open yet, but this is a cream that is rich with ceramides, which I mentioned are like the building blocks of skin. You really need them to maintain a healthy skin barrier. This is a moisturizer that is really rich, it's creamy. You turn to it for straight up moisture, cocooning the skin and plumping up the skin. It's not gonna be like your Actives kind of moisturizer. It also comes with a metal spatula, and the jar lid is magnetic, and so the spatula will actually stick to the lid so you won't lose it. It's brilliant. I think every company should do that. It's great. It reminds me of the texture of butter, but even though it's a really rich cream, it's not too heavy for my combo skin. And especially in the winter when I'm seeking something that's kind of going to blanket the skin a little bit more, this is definitely one I turn to. And it includes honey, which my skin loves, and it smells slightly of honey. It's very pleasant. I love it. If you can't tell, I'm gushing about it. So the next one is the Belif True Cream Moisturizing Balm. Now, I love the Belif Aqua Balm, which is their gel cream, but something about this year has really converted me to loving the moisturizing balm. This is a more traditional cream texture. It's not the gel cream, but it's also not a really thick cream. For example, the Honey Halo is a thicker, richer cream. This one isn't as thick. It's a bit more wet feeling, but it still infuses your skin with moisture and hydration. It plumps up the skin, and that moisture lasts throughout the day or throughout the night. So let me show you the packaging. This is one of their limited edition tubs. It's very cute, and Belif does really, really great holiday sets. I'm going to link some of the sets in the blog post that I will create in conjunction to this video. And I do think you should check that out because I am going to link value sets, gift sets, all of that I can't get to in this video. Then I have two Youth to the People creams. The first is the Superfood Air Whip Moisture Cream, which I think I've used this in a how to create the most skin-like makeup base video, which I'll link in the cards. This is a true gel cream that I would recommend to people with oily skin. This will just deliver pure, straight up hydration, like a juicy, watery hydration to your skin without leaving any heaviness. And because it's not a cream, traditional cream or lotion texture, it won't leave much tackiness or like emollients behind. It's one of those creams that you blend in and then it's gone, even though it plumps up your skin and gives you extra hydration. I especially love this in the summer. I used it a ton in the summer. I've set it aside for slightly richer creams now that we're moving into cooler months, but it definitely has a purpose and it really serves a certain kind of skin type. For drier to normal skins, I would recommend the Youth to the People Adaptogen Deep Moisture Cream. I don't have that on hand, but it's a beautiful, richer cream. It's not a gel cream, it's like a straight up cream, and it's like beige in color. I think it contains like reishi mushrooms, ashwagandha, a few other ingredients that I think include antioxidants. But really the texture of that is really beautiful. It's a richer cream, but it sinks in really, really nicely. And it wears beautifully under makeup. It's one of those things that you try and you're really impressed with the texture. I say that because I recommended it to two of my friends while we were on a trip recently, and they both tried a little sample size I had and they loved it. They immediately went out and bought it, and even one of my friends like texted me recently and was like, this changed my skin. My skin was so dry. And so it's something I recommend that would be appreciated by a large range of skin types also because it's fragrance free. So let's move into masks. I have one wash off mask and it's also by Youth to the People. I just had a big year with Youth to the People. I think it's one of those brands that I really trust with my skin because there's no added fragrance. They have very gentle formulations, and the textures, they just get it right. So the mask that I'm talking about, I don't have right in front of me, but it is their Super Clay, what is it called? Super Clay Purify and Clear Power Mask. So this is a clay mask, but it also includes niacinamide and it includes a touch of BHA in the form of willow bark acid, which is not as strong as salicylic acid. So I don't really love a lot of clay masks, but I do like to have them around, especially if I want to target treat my nose or my T-zone. I found that this summer when I was really, really oily, using that mask once a week or so was really effective in helping keep oils at bay and just helping with the appearance of pores overall. It's not something I would recommend to dry skin types. It's definitely like a normal to oily / struggling with your T-zone kind of mask. But I think it's also a nice way to spot treat, like if you wanted to use the mask over a breakout, or if you only wanted to apply salicylic and niacinamide in your T-zone. It's nice to have wash-off versions of masks with acids or active ingredients because you get that short contact therapy without committing to a full-on leave-on exfoliant like the ones that I mentioned earlier. So also if you have sensitive skin and you want to try like that short contact therapy and get the benefits of the ingredients without committing to the leave-on, that's also one way to do it, is with a wash-off mask like this. The next three masks are leave-on masks. So the first one is the Laneige Cica mask, which I don't have in front of me, but it's a rich overnight cream in a green jar, and it is also based on Cica. So it is very calming, it cocoons the skin, it's very calming if you're struggling with inflammation or redness or a weakened skin barrier. This is something I would recommend to honestly anyone, especially because it's fragrance free. It's something that I think every skin type would enjoy, and it's like a leave-on mask for the masses that will just moisturize, hydrate, protect the skin barrier, restore the skin, all of that good stuff. Then I've got the Soroasu Overnight Hydrating Mask. So this is a mask that comes in a tube. I also can't find mine. We're in the middle of moving, so a bunch of my stuff is in boxes. It's chaos. But this is a great entry product to the brand because the price point is so good. And I keep waiting for it to go higher. I mean, it's $54, so it's relative, but relative to the brand, which very easily goes into the hundreds, 200s, like this is a luxury brand. The $54, I think it's 54, that price point is a nice way to dip your toes in. And this is a beautiful mask. It's rich, but not too thick, not too emollient. It doesn't clog my pores. It's really hydrating. It has that classic Sorazu like herbal ginseng smell. And it's a really nice way to try out the brand to see if it's something that you would like. And I love the tube format for delivering a night mask. Oftentimes they come in jars and you need to scoop it out, and I like to use a spatula, and sometimes it can be, I'm just feeling a little lazy, and I really like to have the night mask in tube form. And I've also converted a couple of my friends into really enjoying this. I think it feels like a luxury moment, but it's still accessible relative to the rest of the brand. So let's move into SPFs, which you should be wearing every single day. So my favorite SPF that Sephora carries, I also don't have at the moment. It's the Dr. Jart Everyday Sun Fluid, but their chemical version, not their mineral version. If you like mineral sunscreens, the mineral version is nice too. I just like the chemical one because it's a really light, milky texture. It's chemical, so there's no white cast. It sinks in really quickly. It's, I wouldn't say super hydrating. It is somewhat hydrating, but it sets down to like a natural finish. It wears beautifully under makeup, and I think for the price point, you get a really good amount of product. That one sold out really, really quickly last year. So I would just say if you want it, put it in your Sephora cart now. The other SPF 50 that I love, it's all chemical, no white cast, it's hydrating, it's lightweight, it's fluid, sinks in quickly, is the Paula's Choice Youth Extending Daily Hydrating Fluid. So this comes in a blue tube, a squeezy tube, and it's sort of a milky, lightweight texture, and it sinks in beautifully. It is a touch more hydrating, I would say, than the Dr. Jart. For me, it leaves a bit of a luminous finish, but it wears beautifully under makeup. It's really easy to reapply. So I think that one sold out like on day one of the sale last year as well. So just something to note, again, if you're preparing your cart. I also like the Innisfree Daily UV Defense Sunscreen. This is only an SPF 36, so it's slightly less protection than the Dr. Jart one, but it's also all chemical, so there's no white cast. It is a bit richer in consistency. This is more of like a traditional lotion texture. I think there's some footage of me applying it, so I will drop that in, but it still absorbs really quickly, not quite as quickly as the Dr. Jart, but it's a really, really nice option. And honestly, I mean, SPF 36 is perfectly fine for everyday coverage. It also comes in this like really slim profile tube. It's very easy to use, to carry around for reapplication, all of that good stuff. So it's a really nice option. The next SPF is my favorite face skincare from Fenty Skin, which is their SPF 50. So this is a refillable SPF. It's very cool. You twist up to dispense the product, and the tube itself is refillable. It is all chemical, there's no white cast. I mean, Riri wouldn't do that to us, but it is very, very dewy, like very dewy. I've heard even people with like normal dry skin say it can be very dewy. So this is something that I definitely wear when I'm going to wear makeup and I'm going to powder. But I kind of like how moisturizing it is. If I know I'm gonna use this, I just skip moisturizer, and this is both my moisturizer and my sunscreen. And I just love the refillable aspect of it. I will say it's very fragranced. I think it smells great. It has a very like candy-like scent. It's very sweet. So if you're sensitive, you may want to avoid. I think the whole Fenty line is quite fragranced, but I like it. And to me, the fragrance doesn't bother me. And if you're into refillable skincare, then this is the one for you. Lastly, I have, shockingly, a mineral SPF. I say that because I do not like mineral SPFs. I only wear chemical, with the exception of the Dr. Dennis Gross All Physical Lightweight Wrinkle Defense SPF 50. Now, I want to qualify this by saying that I've used this the most on my décolleté because I'm eczema prone there. I have really sensitive skin on my neck and chest. And so sometimes I try to avoid chemical SPFs for that reason. And when that's the case, I have used this. And I won't say it doesn't have a white cast because I think all physical SPFs have a white cast. But relative to other physical SPFs, mineral SPFs, it has less of a white cast. And on me, it goes away. And it doesn't rub off on clothes, like on my neckline, which other mineral SPFs I find do rub off on clothes a lot. This one kind of sets down and I don't feel that chalky feeling of mineral SPFs. I don't get that like pilling that mineral SPFs do sometimes. This is just one of the more elegant, more sheer mineral SPFs I've seen. Now I will say I have seen creators with deeper skin than mine say that it does leave a white cast on them. I think all minerals do, frankly. We need to stop lying to ourselves that mineral SPFs don't leave a white cast. But this is the tube, and this one's almost done actually, but it comes out with this clear tip, very elegant. That's the formula. It's just a classic lotion. And then when you rub it in, it doesn't feel chalky. It doesn't feel like, you know, you can feel that grittiness in mineral sunscreen sometimes. I don't feel any of that. Actually, when I first tried this on my hand, I remember gasping because it felt so elegant. So obviously it's not cheap for 1.7 ounces of mineral SPF. It is Dr. Dennis Gross, but if you have particular needs or SPF is an investment for you and you really like mineral, this is the way to go. Let's talk about lip treatment. So I really love the Kiehl's Butter Stick SPF 30. It's my favorite lip SPF and it comes in a range of shades from clear to nudes to pinks to berries. I think they have 6 or 7 different tints in that formula, and I think I've been more diligent about lip SPF this year. It's one of those things that I just forget about, and I think Kiehl's does one of the better ones with higher protection. I did do a whole section on lip balms in my makeup video, which I will link here, but let's talk about the lip night masks. So there's the Laneige lip sleeping mask, which is my favorite. It's the classic, it's a rich, soft balm, and I love that in original and vanilla. I've used it for like 7-8 years. Every night, my lips never get chapped, and I credit that product for that. But there have been a couple of new lip sleeping masks on the market that are giving it a run for its money. The first one is the Belief Overnight Lip Mask, the Aqua Bomb Overnight Lip Mask. So this has the Belief, it's sort of like a lemony fresh scent. It's also very soft, it's very balmy. It's a huge tub. This is 20 grams, 0.7 ounces. So you get a lot of product. I would say the texture is quite similar to the lip sleeping mask in that it's also very soft and melty. And once it's on your lips, it really coats them. And so if you like that one and you're looking for something new, then the Laneige Overnight Lip Sleeping Mask would be a really nice option. The last lip sleeping mask is quite different from the texture of the other two, and that is the Fresh Sugar Advanced Therapy Lip Sleeping Mask, or Recovery Lip Mask. So this is based on their classic, what is this called? The Sugar Advanced Lip Balm in the stick form. So it has that sugar lemon fragrance that is iconic to that product. It smells so good. And this is nice because it comes with a spatula that lives in the cap. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but there's like a little plastic cap and a place for the spatula to go. So this is a much firmer texture than the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. I think you can even tell by the way it's holding its shape in the jar. It's stiffer in formula, a bit waxier in formula, but it melts onto the lips so beautifully. And I do think it's a bit thicker, I guess. It's thicker in formula, thicker on the lips. It's beautiful. If you like the fresh lip balms, any of them, you will like this. I also love the fresh lip balms that are in the jars that are like the fruity ones. I love the mango, peach, coconut, all of those. But if you want like the lip mask version of a fresh lip balm, it's this one. I have 2 self tanners for the face, which to be honest, I don't use that often, but sometimes in the dead of winter, you just need a little something. My go-to one is the Tan-Luxe Super Glow. So Tan-Luxe is a really nice formula because it's a hydrating serum essentially that you can add into a moisturizer, you can apply it directly to the face, and the more you add, the deeper the color is. And it starts out very, very gradual. So I will do like 3 to 4 drops, and then maybe I'll do 3 to 4 drops the next night. I don't really do a lot at once just because I get a little scared, but it's so subtle that you could definitely add more without it being weird. And it's never streaky. It always looks very, very natural, and it's not too warm. The other option is one that I was quite skeptical about, but it's the Saint-Tropez Bronzing Water Facial Mist. So this is a really nice option because you just mist it directly onto the face. I mean, I would do it when you're probably fresh out of the shower and not when you have clothes on, but it is also very gradual, never streaky. You can use it multiple days in a row, and it's nice because you can like spray around your ears, you can spray down your neck, and it's a very fine mist, so you're not gonna get like drops of tan. And I don't know, it's just a really, really easy delivery system. I'd also say if you are nervous about drops or any of this, you can take a sponge after you spray it on your face and just kind of tap it around the face to avoid any potential marks, but you really won't get any. It's very, very easy to use, which is exactly the kind of self-tanning mechanism that I need. So finally, I'm gonna close this out with skincare tools, and I'm going to preface this by saying skincare tools are expensive. They're an investment. Because they're expensive, it might be worth using your discount on, but it's only worth it, and this goes for any skincare tool, it's only worth it if you're consistent. That's really the only way you're going to see results. So, first off, I have the Dr. Dennis Gross Spectralight Mask. Now, this is an LED mask that does both red light and blue light. And it's a hard shell mask. It comes with straps, all of that aren't on mine right now. I've been using mine since 2018, I would say, this exact one. And it's lasted very well. And I have seen results in that I mean, anti-aging, it's always hard to say like what the results are, but I'm really happy with where my skin is. It helps me with inflammation, like calming down the skin, and the research is there. I mean, if you look up LED mask research, the research is there in terms of anti-aging, in terms of smoothing the skin. Vanessa Eccles to Get Glowing has also done extensive research on this. I'll link her blog post below. So this is a really, really proven skincare tool to me. I also really like the inclusion of the blue light for acne. If I feel a cystic spot coming up or any spot coming up and I use this a couple nights in a row, I do notice that it goes down. And I find that it's really, really useful to have in my stash for that reason. It's also a very short cycle, so it's a 2 or 3 minute cycle, so it makes it a lot easier to use regularly, especially, which you want to do, especially if you're going to pay a lot of money for a mask like this. I've been testing another LED mask that's a silicone mask, which I have to say I like the silicone for contouring to the face, but it's only red light and it's a 20-minute cycle. And so even though I like the way that it contours to the face more, I use it less because it's a longer cycle, it's more of a commitment, and I also like the blue light in here. So there's pros and cons, honestly, to each kind of LED mask, but I would say if you are someone who knows you won't use a 20-minute mask, if you are also someone who's tackling anti-aging as well as breakouts, or you want the combo of both, this would be great. It also comes in a holiday kit that sells out really, really quickly every year, where for the cost of the mask alone, you also get alpha beta peels, you get a face wash, and I think you get something else. But it's a really, really good gift set for you or for someone else. But yeah, that's what I have to say about this. It's great with regular use. The last skincare device is the NuFace. Now this is the NuFace Trinity, which means that you can detach this top and add in other attachments. There's one for the brow, there's one for lips. I think there are a couple others, or there's a NuFace Mini, which includes all of the benefits of this, but it can't attach and detach the different attachments. So the way the NuFace works is through microcurrent, and I couldn't tell you the science behind it. What I will say is that this is a device that you have to use regularly to see results, but the results are visible. So it's something that you would use to contour the face, like along the cheekbone, along the jawline, above the brow, and you do notice visible lifting if you have stuff to lift. I wouldn't say if you're like 18, you don't need this. I'm 30 and now I'm like, okay, this makes sense for me to have. It's both preventative and active in the sense that you do see lifting, and I do notice a more contoured, sculpted, lifted look, but I only notice it when I'm using it consistently. So this, even more so than the LED mask, I mean, granted, they're totally different tools, but in terms of usage, this is something that you do have to use regularly to see results. And if that's important to you, if you have the time to do it, it is a worthy investment. And I haven't used the other attachments, but I hear they're really nice for lifting the brow or for smoothing out like the lip area or lifting the lips a little bit. So I think this is kind of more of a need dependent product than the LED mask. The LED mask will benefit a lot more people. This is more of your tackling any sagginess or your jowls or just fighting against gravity in general, which I'm like, hey, whatever it takes, like, let's do it. So yeah, it is very effective. It's effective if you're committed to using it. And you also need to use a primer with this. So they have come out, there's a gel primer that they came out with a while ago when they released this, and they've also come out with other primers. There's like a silk primer, a hydrating primer. They're very, very nice and actually include skincare benefits in the ingredients. So I will link those in the description box as well. So again, it's worthwhile if you're going to use it. And that's true for any skincare device, period. So that is it. Those are all of my skincare recommendations. If you haven't seen the makeup recommendations, definitely check those out, and then stay tuned for hair care, body care, and fragrance. I went really hard on body care in this last year, so there's a lot there, which is why I'm saving it for a third video. If you have any questions about any of the products that I've shared, feel free to leave me a comment. You can always shoot me a DM on Instagram. I would love to see you there, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.